Hello, and welcome to Litmos's Q1 2024 release preview live webinar. Thanks so much to everyone who's joining us today. In this webinar, members of our product team will be introducing new features and improvements to Litmos. In addition, we'll be talking about updates to the Litmos training content. So feel free to introduce yourselves in the chat and tell us where you're signing in from. And while we wait for attendees to trickle in, I'll get started with a few housekeeping notes. So all webinar attendees will be able to interact with each other in the chat window to your right, and you'll also notice a Q&A widget right below the chat one. So you can use that Q&A window anytime to send us typed questions throughout the presentation. And myself and the rest of the Litmos team will do our best to respond to as many questions as we can in real time. But we'll also be saving some of your questions for the Q&A portion, which will happen in the last few minutes of the webinar. So now, without further ado, I'd like to hand it over to our Director of Product Marketing, Christy Backus, who will introduce our presenters.
Welcome, everyone, to our Q1 customer webinar. Today, we have with us Tommy Richardson, Chief Product Officer and Chief Technology Officer. We have Dr. Jen Farthing, our VP of Litmos Platform, Phil Tuddy, our VP of Litmos Content, Travis Moses Westfall, our Senior Product Manager, and then lastly, we have Sandra Hanna, our Senior Product Manager. Our agenda today is I'm going to hand it over here shortly to our CTO. We're going to go through a newly designed learner homepage experience. I know you're really excited about this. We're going to go through extended enterprise, addition of new e-commerce functionalities. Also, we're going to talk about new updates to mobile, new content authoring tools, style elements, enhancements to roles and permissions, an updated instructor-led training, features along with new webhooks, traditional search update, Litmos AI Assistant preview, and updates to training content. Again, welcome customers. And for our non-customers, we hope you are excited about what we show you today. Very important here, this is our statement on Safe Harbor. We do have this presentation available for you after the call, so you can download that, but keep this in mind. Statement of Safe Harbor there, you can read that on your own. And with that, I will hand it over to Tommy. Take it away, Tommy.
Good to see everyone today. We've got some exciting material, as Christy said, that we're going to be walking everybody through. And before we get to some of the specifics of what we're going to be delivering in the near-term future, I wanted to walk everyone through our product vision and give you an idea of where we're going and where we're taking the company. Litmos is rather unique out there in the industry, given that we have the platform, the LMS as an example, and the software, but we also create content. You're going to hear from the gentleman who runs our content team, Phil Tuddy, who's going to be talking a little bit about that. And we have services to help, admin as a service, as an example, if you need some administrative, part-time help. And when you really look at where we're going to be taking our product, is really trying to leverage those three things across the gamut. And so when you look at the wheel here, inside the wheel, you can see sort of the key goals that we're focused on. And some of these, you're actually going to see some things that are going to be coming up that are going to be, super awesome for these areas. And so, for example, on the learner experience, we're spending a lot of time focusing on how do we improve that learner experience. We have a mobile release that's going out this week that's going to be a big help with that. You're going to see some screenshots about what we're doing with our new learner homepage. We plan on working throughout the year on how do we improve our gamifications and how do we put more incentives into the systems where it feels more like a consumer app. Consumer apps that, have a lot of content, so things that you sort of think about around like YouTube or Netflix. How do we get kind of a similar feel and a similar appeal where we pull learners into learning like those systems? Also focusing and empowering managers is a big deal for us. We started that last year. We plan on continuing to add feature functions to help managers, such as the ability for managers to assign content, that is a big initiative that we're going to be working on. Love the hearts. I'm a manager myself, so I can't wait to use it. The other thing is continuing to roll out intelligent experiences. You'd have to be under a rock to not hear about AI in learning in 2023 and now in 2024. And so we're going to be rolling out a AI digital assistant that the team is going to walk you through, and it's going to be super powerful. It's going to allow you to ask questions, generate quizzes, all sorts of great capabilities in our assistant that we're going to be rolling out this year. But we're also going to be taking that AI engine, and this is Litmos's AI, by the way, that we're talking about, and we're going to be expanding that across our platform. So helping to do skills tagging, for y'all that either use or want to use our skills framework. It's going to help match skills with courses, so you don't have to go do that by hand. We'll also, as I mentioned, help generate quizzes and content as we go throughout the year. And really, what we're after there is like, how can we leverage AI to one, make it easier to consume content, two, make it easier to create content, and three, make it easier to administer the content experience. And all of that is great for learners, managers, and admins. The other thing is continuing to work on our content. We have some new courses that we're going to be delivering this year. We plan on continuing to develop courses and delivering even new courses that we haven't traditionally offered, such as courses around sales enablement and AI. How to use best practices around AI. But we're also spending a lot of time on partners. We added a partner last year with Go1, and we plan on adding a lot more partners in here. And the idea is kind of like your phone, where you get all the apps in one place nowadays. You can get all the content from one place. You don't have to go to all these different providers to get the content, and it's high quality, it's curated. The other thing that we've been doing, and we've done this for our trials, and it will be something we'll be bringing to our customers, is the idea of all this data around content that makes it work, from like, how do I simulate these courses and learning paths? How should I assign badges and points to courses? How do I search the courses? Like, what are best practices for titles? All of these things for our content. We call that default data, and we're going to be rolling that out across the customer base. So you'll kind of get the best practices, and when you buy our content, have it all set up ready to use in the software. The other thing that's a big focus for us, extended enterprise. We support that today, but I would say we're gonna put it on steroids as we go forward. And so as we go throughout the year, we're going to be enhancing our extended enterprise, things like public catalog, training credits, being able to support multiple locations globally, all sorts of sophistication on there for companies that want to offer, training externally, whether it's to their customers or suppliers, and whether you want to do it for free, you want to charge for it in different currencies, training credits, the whole enchilada. And so that's going to be exciting, and you'll hear from the team some things. We're going to be incrementally delivering that throughout the year, and some things we're going to be doing. With the efficient admins, I've already kind of talked about this, skills and tagging, and how do we provide automation in the product that really helps the admins sort of focus on the main things and not the busy work is a big focus for us as well. And then on the embedded experience, we rolled out a new version of our Salesforce app in Q4. And so we plan on continuing to bring learning into other applications such as Teams and Slack and other applications. And if y'all have ideas on areas where you'd like to embed learning in other applications, definitely let us know in the chat here. So on the next page, I want to go a bit deeper. I talked about some things that are this year and some things that will get into, 2025. I want to be very particular on some things that we're going to be doing in 2024 that the team later will go deeper on. We're going to be revamping reports and analytics. We've got a lot of feedback on that. And so, coming out with a new version of analytics, which is going to help you get to the data you're looking for in the format you're looking for a lot quicker. is going to be a big focus for us. You know, the best practices I mentioned. So when you buy our content, it's going to get delivered with learning paths and durations and everything associated to it to help you manage that library and to get to teaching and using those courses as quickly as possible. We're working on a new UI. You're going to see some screenshots of one of the things that we're doing there, which is Learner Home, but we plan on going through the app in areas where we think we can improve the user experience and make it more intuitive. You know, back to that sort of consumer grade experience is a big focus for us this year. Continuing to do third-party integrations. We last year rolled out a integration framework that allows us to integrate over 200 pre-built systems that are out there, whether it's ERP systems or, you know, any sort of external system. They have all the main systems there. Continuing to roll that out. You know, again, if you're interested in integrations, please let us know, on the chat here. Extended Enterprise already talked about. AI and search already talked about. ILT, I saw a comment. The comments are scrolling here pretty quickly, but I did see a comment on ILT. We do plan on revamping that this year as well, and coming up with a new version. And you know, our ILT today works with Teams and Zoom, but we're just going to really be focused on sort of ease of use and making it easier to set up ILTs and to find ILTs, and having a better experience overall for the admins who have to do all of that, and the learners who are searching for the content. And as always, we're also one of the few systems that has a content authoring tool included. We're continuing to enhance that, and as we go through the year, we're just going to have a stream of constant enhancements on our content authoring tool. So that's just a sneak peek. I will hand it over to our team who are going to go in most of these in a bit more detail and give you a sense of exactly what we're doing.
Very good. Excellent. So Travis here is going to take over and talk about our newly designed learner homepage experience. Take it away, Travis.
Thank you, Christy. So wanted to start out with a quick overview of that new learner design page, a little bit of background about what our objectives are. So our UI UX team was really focused on making this an experience that, as Tommy mentioned, was more consumer friendly. But the objective is, how do we reduce cognitive load, right? Our learners are coming here to learn content, not learn a new interface and navigation. So we want to make this home experience as simple and transparent as possible. So we've used this motif of the channels, same kind of thing that you would see in Netscape, YouTube, or Amazon Prime, where on the right you have the things that are your activities today. So what is it that is you need to do right away? It's do. What are the things that you are currently working on? And what are the things that are assigned that are coming up in the near future? These menus, these channels are all dynamic. As the learner changes what they are doing, they start a new activity, they end an activity before the due date. That then changes where those courses are appearing so that they know what the status is of those courses all the time. Then on the right side of the page is our little stack of our widgets that provide different information about what is going on in the course. Is there something, how are you performing? We see the gamification one there at the top, or what is the status of your work in here overall? What are your leaderboards? If there's a news widget and so on, those are all appearing in that right-hand column. One of the other nice things about this new view is I have all these courses, and if I want to get a preview of what's going on, I can mouse over that and we get this, excuse me, the little pop-up that comes up that gives the description of the course and the parts of the course. And right from here, I can immediately jump to working in that course. And when I leave the course, it brings me right back to this homepage. So compared to our current navigation, we've taken out 2 or 3 intermediary pages and clicks. out of that workflow for the learner. So this makes it much more efficient for them to get from this home experience into a course and then back again. So then this dashboard experience, like our current dashboards, is customizable. So let's see, Christy, if you could navigate to that next slide. So here we see the admin experience for the learner home, where we're able to customize what that learner sees. We can add and remove widgets. We can change the order of those widgets. And then, like our current dashboard experience, we're able to assign those dashboards to different brands. So if you have multiple brands and you want to have a different experience in each of those brands, you can create that. One of the things that I think the team is doing that is very cool is how we're going to support current users moving from the current version of our dashboard experience to the new version. And if you already have a number of brands with your custom dashboards built out for each of those brands, what we're going to do in the background when you choose to turn on this new learner experience is we'll be making copies of those dashboards and the widgets that are in each of those, so that when you switch over, those are pre-built for you for all of your brands. You won't have to construct those. You may have to look and see if you want to change the order of them because the screen is oriented a little differently in the new view, but that's all you would have to do. So that should make the adoption of this learner view much simpler and faster for our existing customers to take on. All right. The next capability that I wanted to talk about is our new e-commerce functionality. We are, as Tommy mentioned, working on expanding our advanced e-commerce capabilities and really building out our business operations functionality. And we are starting that this year with our initial release that is going to be the addition of a customer-facing public catalog and the tools to turn that catalog on. So our first release, I'm going to show a quick little walkthrough here. There we go. So within Litmos, where we have our features area, we will turn on the new advanced e-commerce setting. And once that is activated, you'll then have the ability to choose who your payment provider will be and what currency you're going to be supporting with that payment provider in your store. And then you have the ability to start creating instances of your stores. So I want to add a new store site. I have the controls to enable or disable this site, make it public to my customers. I then have the ability to design that site. And we have a robust design tool that is in the works for building that out using a visual editor and drag and drop capabilities so that we can create a beautiful storefront for highlighting your products. In the background, once you've turned on that e-commerce, then that then activates your catalog. And here I'm just giving an example of what that dashboard might look like. And when I bring up the results for a particular product, I'll have a nice little tile here that gives a brief description of that and the cost. And I click on that, and it gives me more detail about it. I can choose the description of the language I'm looking at, what the list of the modules are. I see down here in the corner the price that I'll be paying, and I can add that to my shopping cart. Now that's for a typical e-learning program. And then we also have a view of this if this was say an ILT session, where I will see the available dates and times and locations and the number of seats that are available for a particular course that'll either be a virtual or live in-person session. Same idea. I've got that course. I add that to my cart. I go over to the cart, and there I see quickly what it is that I'm ordering, the quantity that I'm ordering, and I proceed to my checkout. And just like any other buying experience, I've got that initial registration information that I provide to set up my account, agree to the terms and conditions, and then I can proceed to my payment. This is where the payment provider details will be inserted. It's different, depending on who your provider is, what goes in there exactly. And then at the end, I see on screen, I see in an email that I receive the history of my order. When I log in the next time and I want to see what I ordered in the past, I'll have an order history that I can look at. And so now I've completed that workflow. So with our initial release, we're starting with the basics of getting that e-commerce segment set up, that customer-facing catalog, and we'll be building out on that over time. Go back to my slide deck. So we're very excited about this. We are got a lot of work coming up for the rest of 2024 to build this out so that it fully supports a number of business scenarios for how we sell things in packages and allow discounts and sell to enterprise organizations so that we really have flexibility for how you use your training as your business. All right. The next item that I wanted to talk about really quickly is our mobile update. And so here what we're looking at is our current player. When you are viewing the courses multimedia on a mobile device, as soon as you leave the viewer, you are immediately paused in your playing. So let's say you get a text while you're watching a video. It stops while you go to your text message and then come back. Or you want to check your weather while you're listening to it. You can't do it at the same time. We're switching to a new mobile experience where we're using the native player. And this allows the picture-in-picture experience where I can continue to play that media while multitasking with other items on my phone. So that we've got the first phase of that where we're switching to the native content players now. And then that background player capability will be coming out a little later in the year. Let's see. So that covers that on the mobile. So now I'm going to hand it back over to Christy.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Travis. That was very exciting to see all those new things coming out. So with that, I will hand it over to Dr. Jen to talk about content authoring.
Thank you, Christy. Litmos has an awesome native content authoring tool, our CAT, and we're super excited to unveil 2 new templates for you. They've already been released, so you can, if you're using CAT, you can go in and check them out. If you've created content with our tool or even other tools out there, you know that a variety of page types is effective for keeping learners visually engaged throughout their learning experience. So we now have a card component as shown here on the screen with the blue jay. It's a great way to offset an important graphic or a focal image. To use it, it's both intuitive and easy. Similarly, we offer a divider component, which, just like it says, helps you divide your page to draw attention to important items, such as a learning objective or a worked example. And that's what you're seeing on the other image with the sliders and the colored bands. So breaking up the page this way, again, it's fast, it's simple to use, and it pays off by keeping the page organized and clear for your learners. Beyond that, as you can see, it's a small image, but you can easily add visual labels to items. So again, I would say if you're using CAT, give it a try. If you're not using our native embedded authoring tool, ask for a demo and give it a try. It's simply amazing. And with that, I'm going to turn the presentation over to Christy and then Sandra, who's going to talk to us about some exciting things that we're doing with admin that I know people have been asking about in the chat. So without further ado.
Very good. Thank you so much. Sandra, go ahead.
All right. So I'm very excited to talk to you about the new design of roles and permissions. The new design for roles and permissions will be released in the first half of this year. And what you're going to be able to do is create custom account roles. These custom account roles are going to give you very specific granular access to the Litmos features and the account settings. And not only will we have custom account roles, we're going to have custom team roles. With custom team roles and custom account roles, you're going to be able to manage the granular access of what you can do with people, content, and teams. So you can select one option. I want a custom team role to create. I want a custom team role to only view. So very granular access. We're also separating out the reporting permissions, so you can have a report writer if you want. You could have that kind of role, and they don't have to have any other permissions. And then with this release, we will be supporting full API support and bulk assignment of the roles. And one thing I don't want to forget to mention, with the custom team roles, you can create multiple ones, of course, but you can also assign multiple team roles to a user. So that gives you a lot of flexibility as far as the granularity. Now I'm going to walk through a couple of things with streamlining instructor-led training, registrations, and updates. So this will be releasing in Q1. What we've done is we're automating the increase of maximum seats. So in my example here, I have a course. It has 2 maximum seats left, right? That's my seat count. But I want to approve the enrollment, register the learners, and at the same time, I can increase my seat count. So all I have to do is hit approve when that message comes up. So really streamlining the workflow, and all of the work is done behind the scenes. There are 2 new ILT webhooks. These are already released. And let me just give you an intro sentence or two on webhooks. Webhooks are standard in our industry, but with Litmos, we use them to proactively send you events and a message payload concerning that event to your secure application. And what we're doing with these 2 new ones is all about updates. So you see the 2 new webhooks, session registration update and session update. And what that really does, right, is we send you that event, you subscribe to the event in Litmos, we send your application that event, and it has the updated information in the payload. So if you're using webhooks, you're very excited about this. And just one more note on webhooks, they're slightly different than APIs. API, you poll for information. Webhooks, you're actually pushed information. And the last thing I'm going to talk about is traditional search. So traditional search came out last year for account owners and admins. Traditional search, we have your recent searches, we have suggested searches. It's really a deep content search across all of our content types, from assets to collections. We're using all the content metadata for that search. So much more efficient search and very modern search, right? We also added some additional filtering. And today, like I said, this is available for account owners and admins, but in Q1, coming very soon, this will be available for team admins, team leads, and even learners. So I hope you're as excited about that as I am. All right, Christy, I'm going to turn it back over to you.
Okay, very good. So I think we have a poll next. Is that key? Going to come up here. So my admins, if you want to go ahead, there we go. So the poll question is, do you think an AI assistant would help you be more efficient at your job? We'll keep the poll open. And right before we have Phil talk about our training content updates, we will address all of those answers that you have. All right, give you just a minute here. We've got plenty of time here. All right. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to what we believe is one of the most exciting things that you've been waiting to hear about. Dr. Jen, Litmos AI Assistant Preview, take it away.
Thank you, Christy, and thanks everyone for completing that poll. I know how generative AI will help us be more efficient, and other questions are emergent in our culture today, but we're really excited to offer you a sneak peek at what's to come in Q2 and beyond. We're excited to update you on our forthcoming generative AI assistant. We know admins and learners alike are always looking for ways to find what they need more efficiently. That is one of our guiding principles for the AI assistant. And what we're doing here, I think our video has started. Ground control to Major Tom. Okay, here we go. Asking questions using natural conversational language is what it's all about. And in this first case, the user is asking about ways to prevent an employee from being late. And they are doing this by accessing information from a course that they've already taken. What happens on the back end is our assistant combs through the corpus of learning materials in Litmos to get you the right information needed quickly and accurately. And also, as you can see here with the thumbnails, it's letting you know where it sourced that information. So you can assign or take a course or recommend it to others. So it's a handy way to know what you need to know, but also know where it came from. I'm going to show you a few more examples here. So here's our little Lenny icon asking how to help. And we've asked a question about Microsoft Word. So based on the course that this user has taken, you're getting these answers. And here you can decide if you want learners to have access, and within access, if you want to restrict content, as well as if you would like to ensure learners only surface material from courses that they've already taken. In other words, they can't get around taking required courses, but the AI assistant can help them remember key concepts better by helping them review, as you're seeing. Here also in our Microsoft Word example, I know it's going pretty rapidly, you can notice how in a very natural way, you can ask a follow-on question once you get the basic information. So just like if you're using a GPS or asking one of your home devices to help you do something, the AI is keeping right up with you in a conversational manner. So if you prefer to have the AI only work with learners, let's say asking them questions, you can set it so that they only get answers that they seek from courses that they've already taken. Or if you prefer, it may be okay for them to get answers from anywhere in the Litmos courses. And then what happens is the AI assistant can recommend, hey, if you want to know more about this, why don't you go ahead and take the course? One of the things that you're seeing right now is very cool. If the user asks a question in Spanish, the response is also coming back at them in Spanish, even if the referenced course, as you can see from that thumbnail, is in English. So we think that's pretty cool. The AI assistant, again, depending on your settings, depending what you want to do with it, maybe another way that it can help you review is by helping you make an assessment. Or a learner or an admin or a team leader, a manager might involve AI assistant in helping them make an assessment for on-the-spot spaced learning. So again, being able to have flexibility to decide what's best for your organization is another guiding principle here at Litmos. And if you haven't answered the poll, maybe you might think of some ways now that AI might help you be more efficient at your job. And if you're still not sure, we'd love to talk to you about it when you have time. So we hope that that was exciting to see. Thanks.
Outstanding. Thank you so much, Dr. Jen. That is great. We're super excited at Litmos to be rolling that out. With that, I'd like to pull up the poll results. So let's go ahead and do that.
Woo. Thanks, wow. Christy, and everybody for participating. So the yeses have it. So I hope the video helps you see some ways that it might help you. We know from our culture that whenever we can get a recommendation for whatever we need to know, it's always going to help us move faster, right? And knowing that that information is coming from the courses in Litmos, it's not coming from outside, that helps you ensure that that's going to give you answers to questions using the materials that are right there available to you and at hand. So maybe if you're not sure if some of those ways will help you, you like doing things the way you've always been doing them, as we get more information out to you about what we're doing with our AI assistant, maybe we can turn that not sure into a yes. And if you don't think it can help you be more efficient, maybe there's some emerging ways. If you let us know how you might want to be more efficient, we can think of that in the development. We know that there's so many ideas out there in the culture widely. What are the right ones to bring into our Litmos community, right? Because just because you can doesn't mean you always should. So what would be meaningful for you? I think that's a very interesting topic for us to think about in the weeks and months ahead. But so much for AI. I know that we still have some other items to offer today, and we have updates to our training content, and we're going to move this over to Australia to our colleague Phil, who's joined us very early in his morning. So Phil Tuddy.
Sorry, that wasn't as seamless as it should have been. Thanks a lot, Jen. And it's great to be able to present to you all today and share with you what we're planning to do on the content side of things for Q1 this year, and hopefully deliver some content that helps you with your company's learning journey. Now, so first of all, to kick off 2024, our course release focus is really around compliance, and particularly the compliance updates and new courses that we're doing for our regional and specialist compliance editions. And in subsequent quarters of the year, what we'll do is it will do more work around non-compliance content, particularly for the Platinum edition. So we have two launches in Q1. We have a February launch, which is coming up next week, and we have a March launch that's coming up in March, funnily enough. We've worked with our subject matter experts to be able to look at what we need to do to strengthen and improve our compliance, and particularly those specialist suites that we have. So we have 59 courses scheduled for our Q1 release, 10 new courses, 49 updates. And you'll see that there's 6 courses going into the ANZ Compliance Edition, 10 courses for the UK Compliance Edition, 35 for the US and Canada edition, and 8 courses for the Healthcare edition. And you'll see in there that the new courses that we've got, the 10 courses, are really around things like manual handling, forklift safety, workplace stress prevention, fraud awareness, PPE awareness, slips, trips and falls, fire safety and prevention, emergency preparedness, and anti-money laundering. And they're all going into the US and Canada Compliance Edition. And we also have a new course, HIPAA and Business Associates, in our Healthcare edition. So that's the new content that's going out and going into those editions that we have. We also have quite large reversions that we're doing of some of the bigger suites, like the UK Food and Safety Suite, and updating some of the translated versions of our manual handling and other suites like that. So hopefully this content's going to be able to keep you up to date with your compliance needs. It's also going to be able to give you some new contents that will align with your compliance content strategy as well. The other thing that I want to highlight to you, which we're really, really excited about, is the launch of our Litmos Creator Community. So the Creator Community is an online hub that people can access via the Litmos platform, and it gives power users access to best practices and resources on content creation and L&D program rollout. So we're trying to build this for LMS users who've got managed courses or learning path permissions, LMS users with CAT access, and also LMS administrators. So this is a really, really great source of best practice, advice and tools. And we see it as an opportunity to work with content creators looking for best practice within the Litmos ecosystem, for administrators who want to be able to manage compliance programs better and wanting to access resources and templates that facilitate that program rollout. And also content creators in Litmos who are looking for ways to communicate with our internal SMEs and our internal experts having an opportunity to share their expertise with content authors. So it'll work by having a simple link that goes from the platform into the creator community. It's a separate hub that people will go into. It contains articles, videos, other assets that we might develop up. The community will also have a separate area which we call the Compliance Hub, which is designed to support compliance program rollout, as I said before. So each month we'll roll out new content, and in each of the content areas that we publish, our customers can view the content, they can like it, they can comment on it, and the content team will reply and also provide additional content as information sort of comes up for us. The aim is to grow this organically. So we're starting off with a whole pile of really, really useful content, but we want to build and build and build this based on people's feedback and the sort of engagement that we get by users. So we'll be adding more content each month, more content types, more features into the platform based on interest over time. We're really, really excited about this. I think it's going to help everybody connect our expertise with our customers and also get customers to improve the experience that they have with our product, speed time to value. And I think ultimately we're really, really excited because I think this is really going to help you get a lot more value out of our product. So look out for that over the next 3 months. 2 to 3 months, we'll be rolling it out progressively, starting with a small release and starting to build it as we get more customers on. So thanks for that. I hope you're as excited as we are.
All right. Thank you so much, Phil. That was excellent news. And now we actually have plenty of time for Q&A. What we're going to do is we're going to go over to our Q&A area, and we're going to start answering the questions that you have asked. Thank you so much for those. So the first question I have is, can we please get estimated release dates for all the new features so we can plan for change management in our organizations? Okay.
So I can take that one. Yeah, we showed a combination of vision and things that we're going to be delivering in Q1 and Q2. As we get close to those dates, we will be producing release notes. The other thing we've done, which have been changes to the process, is like it just doesn't go out to everyone. And so as we roll out new things, they're behind toggles. Think of it as like a light switch. And so, for example, when we roll out AI, it's going to be off, and then you're going to have the ability to turn it on when you're ready. And so if it's a busy time of year, you don't have to turn it on, or you're not ready, or you want to do it next month or 2 months away, you'll be able to control when you actually want to enable that and roll that out across your user base.
Very good. Thank you. The next question, Dr. Jen, are there any plans for including AI in CAT?
Yes, there are great ideas. I think I responded to that one personally. Great ideas that we have in our idea list for CAT enhancements. In our initial rollout of our AI assistant, we are not focusing on the authoring tool. We're focusing more on that conversational asking and answering. But there are many great ways that, again, AI can enable folks to do things more efficiently, not reinvent the wheel, help engage in research and compiling information for updates and the like, creating assessment material. So that is definitely on our long-range vision for AI Assistant, and we're really excited about all the things that it can do to help you. So keep submitting your ideas for us and let us know what you think.
Very good. Another question for you, Dr. Jen. Just curious how we can guide the AI from the video content. Is that in settings, or is it in some sort of configuration area?
Well, we haven't got it quite ready for prime time yet, but the idea is think of it as the simple user experience that you might have when you go to your search window in your browser. What is it that I want to go looking for? And what we intend to have are a couple of sample prompts that we know work really well. So if any of you have used some of those commercial chats, they might say, hey, I'm going to Italy. Can you help me plan an itinerary? So some of the questions in a conversational manner, what's going to yield the most results? So, right, like yes, no questions, probably not great. When I do prompts, and I know there's a lot of instructional design folks out there in the audience and people who've worked with learning experience, good prompts are good prompts. What kind of prompt is going to yield the most insightful information you can get? So we want to be holistic and seek an open-ended question, right? Like if any of you have ever written surveys too, if you're in marketing, you might know that you want to ask your questions in such a way to yield great results. So we will have some worked examples there, and we do intend to give some blog posts and other ways to talk about it. Phil mentioned the creator community. It might be a really nice place to go and see what are the kinds of prompts that people will ask AI, right? Hopefully that helps answer your question.
Thank you so much. A question for you, Travis. Can you share your plans about your changes to reporting? I know we didn't talk about that specifically this time, but if you'd like to give a quick update on it, that'd be fantastic.
Sure. So we're looking at two things on reporting. One is with the current reporting issue interface. Some of the things that we can address, what we've seen as the biggest complaints around some of the power around the ability to apply filters, add certain data columns, and so on, that are, those smaller things that are bigger pain points. Long term, we are looking at the work to kind of re-envision how that reporting engine works. So right now, it's very much kind of like going in and building a spreadsheet, and then you export that spreadsheet, and that's this multi-step experience. And we're looking at it being more of a visual interface where I am creating a report by capturing the different fields I want to look at and how I want those to be structured and ordered. In a more visual interface, access to all of the data fields and events that are taking place in the courses, so that you've got a more comprehensive report, more simplified control over it, so that I can manipulate it a little more fully within Litmos before I reach a point where I need to export it to use a business intelligence application elsewhere. So that's kind of, two phases, some of those quick wins on some of the greatest pain points that we've been seeing, and then longer term later in the year, getting out some of that rebuild in that new interface.
Very good. Thank you. AI questions really popular today. Can AI assistant ID information in Litmos courses only, or can it pull from courses we have created and uploaded? Dr. Jen.
The answer is going to be, it depends, but the capability will be there. So based on how you might want to orchestrate your access in terms of use, so we're talking in this case about the Litmos courses, and as you add in your courses, as you add in maybe your own third-party courses, how you want to permit those to be accessed for conversational AI, which may have to do with terms of use, for instance. So once you have the settings that those courses are available, that corpus of material can be crawled, if you will, by the AI to come up with the answer to your questions.
Good deal. Thank you. And then I have a question for Sandra. With the new roles and permissions features coming, will they be integrated with Litmos Assign so permissions can be assigned automatically based on title, department, etc.?
Not yet. So not initially.
Good question, though. Okay.
Yes, good question.
All right. Let's see. Okay, here another AI question. Does the AI assistant limit the search results to the content the person has access to, already taken or not? We have some issues with trying to limit certain courses from certain of our customers. So, question for Dr. Jen.
It's a great question, and it's one that I think requires some forethought on how you want to be deliberate in how you use AI. So in the example, which I know we went really fast, there's kind of two ways shown. So one way is condensing the information that is discoverable by the learner to only courses that that learner has consumed. And in that regard, the answers that that learner or manager supervisor can ask would be tied to that consumption model. So the AI generated information can function as a review, right? Maybe it's for annual training on HIPAA compliance or something like that. Oh, I wanted to remember that detail. What is it? I'm going to ask the AI assistant, and it's going to remind me, and I'm going to remember better that course that I took 8 months ago. So that's really great for spaced learning, for recognition and recall of important items, for your career, for your basis of the topics you do as part of your daily job, or compliance and ethics and things like that. So the other way you can do it is you can say, you know what, I want to expose all the learning we have to everybody so that everybody can have open learning within the corpus of learning materials that we expose on Litmos. This is our community of practice. This is our learning. Let's have at it. And the way that might function is anyone can ask any question, or there can be somewhere in the middle between explicit access and open access. And if it's all open, the learner can get a quick answer to a question like, hey, I just really want to remember how to do this function in Excel. I probably learned it 7 years ago. I haven't taken an Excel course, but there's an Excel course in our library, right? So the learner gets a quick answer, which is wonderful, gets on with her job. And then the AI assistant can say, hey, Jen Farthing, you know what? There's probably other things you forgot in Excel. You might want to go ahead and take this course. So it may have then done a really targeted recommendation for me as a learner, and that makes me want to learn more, and I'm motivated. So there's lots of different ways you can imagine that working for your organization. But again, we want to have a flexible way of doing for you, because what fits for one organization may be a little different for another one. The kind of content that is suitable for maybe one group might be different than another. So being able to figure out ahead of time what you'd like to be doing with it, what makes sense, that's something that I think is a really worthy discussion for how you want to operationalize an AI assistant.
Very good. Thank you so much. Another question here for Travis. If we currently have our homepage customized, will we need to rebuild it when you push the new UI, or will our current build just be updated? Great question.
Yeah, so when I'll have to say that depends. So we'll have to look at what kinds of customizations you have done with that page. So we would need to definitely talk with your customer success manager to make sure we look at your page and see what aspects we will copy directly versus what things you may have done with custom coding that we need to look at more carefully. When we're talking about just the widgets that are in a dashboard and bringing those across, yes, absolutely, that'll copy across. We'll need to talk about other kinds of customizations you may have done that might be beyond that. So yes, and we need to make sure and check with you.
Yep. The other thing too is that's why the toggle thing I talked about before is so important.
Yes,
because you'll have control over that. Like we'll be able to work with you and make sure your configurations work well with that. You can try that in your sandbox and all of that, and make sure it works before enabling that as we go. So just an extra advantage of us taking that approach.
Excellent, excellent. All right, a question for Sandra. Will custom roles and permissions provide the ability to assign permissions to grade assessments and mark the assessment module complete?
that is not separated out yet. You'll be able to have, this is not answering exactly that question, but not initially, but you will be able to have someone who can just create questions in the question bank so that permission is separated out.
Very good. And one other question along those lines. It's a pretty granular question. Let's see if they can, they trip you up on this one, Sandra. Now, will the custom roles affect who can validate checklists for users in multiple teams?
Let me think about this.
We might come back to that.
So I have to look into that, but if you can, it wouldn't be just checklist, it would be the content. So not just checklist. And what we really want to do, of course, is we know there's even more granular permissions that you will be needing. So this first really is huge, what we're giving you, but we know there will be some tweaks and other things we need to add along the way. So this feedback is very important.
Yeah, a lot of what Sandra's talking about is setting the stage for a new way of doing things and making those actions not just tied to a handful of people, right? If at your organization you need that work distributed, the way we're thinking about this reimagination of our custom roles and permissions gives more optionality for you. So as Sandra said, keep asking us, keep giving us those ideas so we can make it even more useful for you.
Very good. Another question along those lines. Does custom team role mean we'll be able to have leaders responsible for visibility into the team and grading, but not get assigned the training for that team?
Yes, you'll have visibility into the content, and you don't have to have because the assigned role is separate.
Okay, very good. Another question here. What version of Litmos do we need for these features? That's a good SaaS question. Go ahead, team, and answer that one.
I can take that one. The great thing about SaaS is there is no version. It's the version that's running already. And so just so y'all know, there's always one version running in the cloud. Kind of how we manage the versioning rollout, again, gets back to that feature toggle. So we deploy everything, and then we start to enable that across the customer base. That is an install where we have people running on different versions. Everybody's on the same version.
Very good. Let's see. Single sign-on for mobile. I think we have that today, correct? Anybody want to take that one?
I think we need some particulars on yes, we do support single sign-on, but I don't know if it's a
depends.
Protocol.
Yeah. Biometrics and things like that.
Yeah. Biometrics we do, yeah.
Trick question.
We call that a yes, and be more specific and let us help you out. So,
right. You have to say what is, right? You have a little buzzer now. All right. Let's see. Can mobile multitasking capability be turned off? Question for you, Travis.
I will double check on that. Both what you mean by that exactly, and if that is capable. So at the moment, the way it was set up is so that is a default for the learner that they can do that multitasking when they're doing the multimedia, as opposed to like if they're in an assessment, then that assessment will be set up so that it's not picture in picture. So just wanted to clarify that that's an item for media being able to do that versus the rest of a course per se.
Very good. Another question for you. Does the new e-commerce support any new payment providers? Like Salesforce can support payments through purchase order. Would that be another provider that would be available?
That is definitely coming. It won't be in our first release in March and April, but it will be coming by the end of the year.
Very good. Excellent. I think we have 1 minute left. So with that, thank you so much for your fantastic questions. And I will hand it over to Nikki and Liz to close it out.
Thank you, Christy, and thanks for everyone for joining us. We hope we were able to answer some of your questions, give you a little more info, and get you excited about these awesome new features and improvements. Just a quick reminder, this presentation was recorded, and it will be made available to you via email with the email that you registered with. So keep an eye on your inbox, and you can grab the slide deck from this presentation in the handout section of your webinar console. So again, thank you so much to everyone who was able to join us today, and we hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.